Today I'm going to give you insane details I found in Squid Game Season 2. Let's begin with player number 1, the frontman, whose actions have subtle details and hidden motives that you might have missed. Player 1 was messing with Ji-hoon from the start, with subtle callbacks to things Ji-hoon experienced in Season 1, purposely playing with his mind. Like, did you notice how number 1 styled his hair in a way that's oddly similar to Sang-woo? Almost like he's deliberately making himself look like someone Ji-hoon would have a strong reaction to. But the milk scene is also telling. In Season 1, Ji-hoon gives his milk to Ali, saying he can't drink plain milk. Well, fast forward to Season 2, and guess what? Player 1 does the exact same thing. He hands over his milk to Jun-hee, saying he can't drink plain milk either. Like, the frontman is so meticulous that he changed the Squid Game number on the cards to 456, which was the number of Ji-hoon. In fact, the phone number from Season 1 actually belonged to a real Korean woman who was bombarded with phone calls and messages. Netflix have even gone back to re-edit the scenes in Season 1 to a different number because she was being harassed. Now, when we take a look at the second game, the frontman's initial failure with his right hand to spin the topper, followed by the success with his left hand in the end, that's no coincidence. He's left-handed established in Season 1, like when he shot his brother with a gun precisely in the shoulder so that he would not die. The truth is, Hwang Hin-ho intentionally prolonged the game. This tactic was likely designed to unsettle Ji-hoon and diminish his group's advantage. This hints at the frontman's deeper psychological strategy to gain their trust by the end when he helped win the final game. However, the arrangements of groups, particularly placing Ji-hoon's team last in the Six Flags game, that's intentional. This setup ensured that if player number 1, the frontman in disguise, was compromised, the elimination of the entire group would protect his identity, showcasing the meticulous control he had over the game's dynamics. Although this led to his frustration during the spinner game when he struggled to succeed, because if he failed, the potential necessity to eliminate Ji-hoon prematurely would disrupt his broader plan to prove by episode 7 that the choice he made to play the hero was a failure. Because another small detail is the frontman's smirk in response to Ji-hoon's assertion about necessary sacrifices for the greater good, which inadvertently validated the frontman's cynical worldview, setting up the stage for Season 3. And another small detail is that he addresses Ji-hoon by name without any prior introduction, offering a flimsy excuse when he was questioned about it, just like the several other subtle behaviors that reveal his true identity, like his remark to Ji-hoon when he says, "It's not like you killed anyone," which only implies that he has knowledge he shouldn't possess. Why would he assume this regarding Ji-hoon? And during a conversation, player number 1 points out the meaning behind their numbers, stating, "My name means 1 and I'm number 1. Yours means last name and you're 456. Where he starts laughing, not reading the room properly, poking fun at the sheer coincidence. Like, even his exceptional combat skills against Thanos should have demonstrated a background in law enforcement or the military, yet Ji-hoon seemed to overlook all of this. Another detail regarding him is during the Mingle game. He might have cheated when he was separated from the rest of the group. We never see what group he joins, and when they reunite, he comes back stating, "When you're charismatic like me, this game is easy," which hints that he avoided participation, possibly hiding to ensure his survival, reflecting his willingness to bend rules to maintain his cover. And in that same game, the frontman's prediction about the group sizes, that there would be 6 and 2 players in the last 2 rounds, that was a huge giveaway. Another insane detail that is called back upon in Season 2 that you may not have noticed is that he claims to Sung Ji-hoon after he won the games in Season 1 the following.
경마 좋아하시죠? 당신들은 말입니다. 경마장의 말. 의외였어요. 당신은 얼마 달리지 못할 줄 알았는데.
However, in Season 2, we see the dudes literally wearing a horse mask when entering the club, implying nothing has changed. They are still gamblers and within his grasp. This is illustrated with yet another small insane detail regarding the food that proves it. Now, in Korea, rice rolls are never eaten with a fork. You either use your hands or traditional wooden chopsticks. But in Squid Game, the players were served rice rolls with a fork. Why? lie. That wasn't random at all, it was deliberate. All these items were potential weapons. The management was handing them tools to fight each other. This mirrors what happened in season 1. Remember when Ji-hoon was served steak? They got metal knives. That means the frontman wanted the players to start eliminating each other. However, given the fact that Il-nam was number 1 and behind all the games, it's crazy how naive Ji-hoon acted in this season, not picking up on any of these clues that number 1 can be a traitor just like before. But next up is the fisherman, who has an insane amount of details that interlinks with the front man. In Squid Game season 2, the fisherman seems helpful, but is actually working against the main characters. Let's break down the clues that reveal his true intentions. In one scene, the investigator mentioned a lead, and the fisherman quickly asks, is it the guy who won it before? The investigator responds, oh, did Jun-ho tell you that? This suggests the fisherman knew more than he should, hinting at his deeper involvement. And throughout season 2, the fisherman acts clueless about technology, like pretending not to understand how a drone works or even say it properly. But this was just him planting the seeds of doubt in their heads for later on when they discover the drone has been sabotaged. How could it be the fisherman if he doesn't know how it works? Like, even the fisherman saving the policeman is questionable, as the officer literally states there are hundreds of islands, but he just so happened to be at the right place at the right time to save his life. So it's obvious he's working for the front man to save his brother, because at the end of the day he still loves him and wants him by his side, just like he mentioned in season 1. Furthermore, the fisherman prevented the task force progression to find the island multiple times. He deliberately steers them away from the actual island where the games occur. This is by planting the tracker in the bay and setting a trap explosion. He's been the mole this whole time for the past 2 years, being funded with money. Why else would he be helping this policeman for free? Where he even mentions he's not even being paid, but just so happened to find this random guy with a random insane story, so he feels obligated to take him to hundreds of different islands for free. But in truth, none of this would be possible without the front man helping out the fisherman in exchange for preventing them and gaining intel or money. And speaking of money, there's another small detail regarding the salesman. When the salesman hands a coin to a homeless man, we get a close-up of his hands, revealing calluses. At first glance, this could be from weightlifting, but let's be real, it's probably from slapping recruits and proving his philosophy day after day, because he's in it for the love of the game. He doesn't even have to do that, but he does that to the homeless just to prove them wrong. Now, the detail is subtle, but it's linked to the Matrix reference the front man makes as well. The iconic red and blue pills from the Matrix are mentioned, and this ties into Ji-hoon's internal struggle. He's still stuck in his gambler mindset, unwilling to truly live his life with his daughter and the money. The Russian roulette game with the salesman further proves this point, emphasizing how Ji-hoon isn't much different from the beggars in the park. Whilst offering the option between food or a lottery ticket, a majority gambled for money rather than stopping their hunger. This reaffirmed his beliefs that certain people in the world are trash. They consistently choose risky, uncertain options over safer, more guaranteed outcomes. Ji-hoon proved his point by taking the 50-50 to die to let fate decide if he lives, rather than killing the salesman with the last bullet and guaranteeing the outcome so he can take the invitation out of his pocket. This proves that Ji-hoon not living a happy life with his daughter is just a choice, just like in the Matrix. He is still a gambler willing to make sacrifices, like he admitted by episode 7 to the front man. And regarding this salesman, have you noticed how the Kote animation is way too similar to his caricature in the series? This feels like a nod to meme culture, showing how the creator of Squid Game is definitely locked in. Unlike the people who invested in 333's MG coin, as that's a nod to the Do Kwon crypto scandal, where people lost everything and some even took their lives. He faced legal action after the 2022 collapse of Terra USD and Luna cryptocurrencies. It's a reminder of how greed and exploitation ruin lives. But now, here's one of the best details in season 2. It's a moment you probably missed if you watched in the English dub in episode 5. Thanos and his group are casually discussing their ages. For those who don't know, age is a big deal in Korean culture. It influences relationships, respect, and even how you address someone. So after a bit of back and forth, they figure out that the girl in the group is the eldest. That's when Thanos pushes the guy in the group to call her Nuna, which is the term younger men use for older women. But here's where the scene gets even better. Right after this playful interaction, the show cuts to player 120, Hyunju, the transgender woman, being called Onni by another girl in her team. Onni is what younger women call older women in Korean, and you can actually see how flustered Hyunju gets when she hears it as someone has acknowledged her identity. Then there's the moment when the girl tells Hyunju, Onni, you're beautiful, where Hyunju brushes it off, talking about how beautiful girls in Thailand are and how she'll be too. But then the girl insists, Onni, you are beautiful. It's heartbreaking because you realize she feels conflicted. Hyunju knows she voted to continue the game when the girl wanted to stop. She's probably used to people not respecting her identity. But here's this random girl not only using an endearing term calling her Onni, but treating her with kindness. This connection gets even more emotional when you realize Hyunju got attached but witnessed her death in Mingle. Player 120 is similar to Staff Sergeant Byung-Hyo Soo. Sorry if I mispronounced it. But in this real life story, it's regarding a transgender soldier in Korea who was discharged after transitioning. Despite fighting for her rights, she was denied and tragically took her life. But that's not all. This moment parallels Sang-woo and Ali's relationship in season 1. Remember how Ali started by calling Sang-woo Sa-jang-nim, which means boss or CEO or president? But Sang-woo told him to stop. Ali then called him Hyung, which means older brother, as a sign of respect and closeness. But in the end, as a parallel, both Ali and Young-mi had their last words in the show be Hyung and Onni, terms they use for people they grew attached to. Now, to enjoy more Squid Game videos and to learn even more lore or things you have missed, watch this video on your screen right now.